Well, hey guys, I've got my Biggie Happy Holidays mug going strong with the liquid courage, aka coffee. Anyways, as you can tell from the title and thumbnail of today's video, I'm going to be covering facial cupping. This is a topic you have requested me to cover. Cupping is a traditional practice in Chinese medicine in which suction is applied to the surface of the skin in an effort to increase blood flow and circulation to the underlying tissues, and it is thought to improve muscle recovery as well as a variety of different medical ailments and conditions. In cupping, the practitioner applies vacuum with a dome-shaped glass cup to the surface of the skin. This draws up suction, gentle suction, that then increases blood into the underlying skin. And I think many of you have probably seen individuals who have had this done because it results in something called suction purpura, or a bruise. So basically people will have this done on their back and you'll see circles, bruise-like circles on their back. Now facial cupping, on the other hand, very similar, involves the application of a vacuum to the skin on the face with gentle suction, but in facial cupping it doesn't typically result in the extent of purpura or bruising that cupping has when done on the body. It's typically a much more gentle suction than what you would get in having your back treated, for example. Facial cupping is really popular in a lot of salons, and the way that it works, just like regular cupping, it increases circulation to the underlying skin. So you can kind of see an instant improvement in skin firmness. The skin appears more plump. So clients really like to have this done in salons. Unfortunately, it can be incredibly expensive. It runs like $200 sometimes in salons. So while it's super expensive to do it in a salon, of course, you can DIY it yourself with a kit from Amazon. Amazon sells a variety of different at-home facial cupping kits, most notably by this brand Lure that seems to be really popular on Amazon. So yeah, there are a ton of different kits on Amazon and everywhere else on the internet. It seems to be a really popular trend. It's kind of similar to massage or facial massage. If you'll recall back to my video on facial massage. Massage can improve a little bit of the circulation in the massaged area. Like most complementary or alternative interventions to Western medicine, we don't have a lot of strong data to support the use of facial cupping for the treatment of any skin condition. I would say probably one of the most well-studied skin conditions using facial cupping is acne. There are actually 6 randomized controlled trials looking at facial cupping either alone or in combination with some other traditional Chinese medicine techniques like acupuncture or different herbs for the improvement of acne. And quite a few of those studies actually do show some improvement in acne with facial cupping. But there is something called the Cochrane Review, which takes a look at all data that's available on a given question, like does this work? They take a look at all of the studies and critique the studies and kind of rank them and decide what the evidence suggests. And unfortunately, all of these studies, they suffer from many limitations, as is often the case with things like this, really difficult to control for, and so they're considered of poor quality. So because the studies are of poor quality, it's not something that is going to be recommended at all as part of standard of care for acne. In these studies, there were very few actual reported adverse side effects. There were no severe adverse side effects, and the most common adverse side effect is, of course, bruising, even though it seems to be less of an issue with facial cupping where the degree of the vacuum suction is a little less, but it can still happen, particularly if you have more mature skin and you've lost some of the supportive framework, or if you're on an underlying medication that predisposes you to bruising, you're on blood thinners. These are all reasons to have increased bruising, and you may not like that. And also bruising takes a while to resolve, and so that's not necessarily something that's going to be desirable. But as far as the data on acne, as I said, the Cochrane Review concluded that the data is poor quality and is insufficient to make any recommendation for cupping for the treatment of acne. Basically, we need more studies. But there is some literature out there looking at cupping cupping for acne. But other than that, there's really not a whole lot else. You know, in terms of skin, there are some other studies looking at different medical conditions that I won't get into. In terms of the risks associated with this, though, it is definitely not something for people with sensitive skin, or definitely not for people with rosacea, because, you know, increasing the blood flow to the skin can lead to irritation, and if you have rosacea, it can generate a flush, and that flush can become persistent and really bothersome. It also can break the little capillaries in the skin, so you can get what's called telangiectasias, and those, you know, take a long time to resolve, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they require a laser to get rid of them. And so that's not something that anyone wants. I have a video on telangiectasias, or broken capillaries, so check that out. But suctioning on the face is, you know, that sets you up potentially for developing those. And then, of course, they can cause a bruise, as I already mentioned. So those are some of the adverse effects of doing this and doing it yourself. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like there's no data to really support the use of this for any condition. There are obvious adverse side effects associated with doing it, and the extent to which it's helpful is not well understood, if at all. So, you know, to me, it's not really worth it, and it's something I would tell you guys, oh yeah, go do cupping. I think that a lot of the perceived benefit with facial cupping that people encounter can also be achieved by just doing some cardiovascular exercise. Will increase blood flow to the skin, improve hydration in the skin just by increased blood flow. And, you know, it's good for your overall body. It helps with inflammation levels in the body. So that would be what I would encourage you to do. But that being said, some people have serious medical issues that make it difficult to impossible to do intense cardiovascular or any kind of cardiovascular exercise. So that may be more challenging for other people, in which case sometimes, you know, people find that doing these spa type treatments is relaxing, it's enjoyable, it's a little luxury. So I can totally understand wanting to do it. I just can't recommend it to you guys, given the risk to benefit ratio as far as what the data suggests for it being helpful. So yeah, comment below, those of you guys who do this, if you think that it's helpful, or, you know, if it's more of a relaxing thing that you do. Do you do the at-home stuff with the kits from Amazon, or do you go to a salon and have it as a treat? Comment below, I would love to know. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.